Counselor?
There you go.
Okay. Good evening. Am I still on? I don't see anyone.
I can see. You.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending our public safety committee meeting. It's the 25th of August, and again, we welcome you all to our meeting. And with that, Counselor, do we have a quorum? Can we continue?
We do, Mr. Chairman. 8 present.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to get a motion to second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do two. Hold on a minute. I'll be there. I'm at the church. I'm trying to do two things here. May I have a motion to approve the previous minutes?
I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is made and second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Counselor?
Items 2 and 4 are tabled at request of sponsor. Item 3 is a public hearing for local law C related to catalytic converters. And I believe Mr. Cleary is here tonight to speak on this.
I am here.
All right, Mr. Cleary.
This has been out there for a few months, but a few months ago, there was a couple in the county where there were some thefts in the neighborhood. And a few years back, there were a lot more. I was coming back from Long Island. I heard of one where the neighbor tried to stop and got beat up and spent a couple hours in the hospital. What this law would do, it would require delay of payment of 14 days to someone who brings in one to get recycled back, and require that the scrapyard or whoever buys it keeps 3 years of records. The 14-day delay is to help the police investigate it. Any police unit in the county would be able to enforce this law. It came out of law. The one thing that was a concern is, well, if we do this, they're just going to go to other counties. My counter to that is, well, hopefully if that's the case, then they'll pass the same laws and they'll move out of the capital district. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cleary. Are there any questions? There are no questions, and I entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
Have a motion, please.
Second.
The motion is made in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Cleary.
Thank you.
Counselor?
Item 5 is authorizing an agreement with the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee regarding the 2023 Police Traffic Services Grant. And the sheriff is here this evening.
Thank you. Sheriff?
Good evening. How is everybody?
Good evening,
This-
Sheriff.
Great.
This is a $12,000 grant. We usually get it every year. This is what we use for a lot of our enforcement efforts, seat belts, tint, Project Hard Hat for the Move Over law, all the different pedestrian project access. It's only $12,000. It's split up throughout the county.
Okay. Are there any questions for the sheriff?
I make a motion.
The
I'll
motion.
second it. Second.
Motion is made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion is passed. Counselor?
Item 6 is authorizing an agreement with Visionary Integration Professionals regarding a new platform for computer-aided dispatch, records management, and mobile access.
So about a year or two ago, I came to you folks and we got approval. We went out to bid. We got approval for a company called Central Square. Been an absolute nightmare with this company. They've not come through with a proven product. So we worked with law to get rid of them. They do have some of our county dollars that we're trying to get back, but they did do some work regarding the phone switches, which is very technical piece of equipment. but we do want to switch vendors. We have the money for it, and we're trying to go with somebody that can give us a product that works.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Any questions for the sheriff?
I make a motion. I'll second it.
Okay, motion is made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Thank you. Motion is passed. Thank you, Sheriff. Counselor?
Item 7 is authorizing an agreement with the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services Office of Interoperable and Emergency Communications regarding the Public Safety Answering Points Operations Grant Program and amending the 2022 Sheriff's Office budget.
Thank you. Again, this is a $220,092 grant. It's good from January 1 of 22 to December 31 of 2022. This year we got 220,000. Normally it's up about 30 to 40.
How you doing?
All right, how are you?
Good.
It's up 30 to 40,000. And this is what we use on our PSAP with all the multiple jurisdictions. This is how we tie them all together and the money we use to do that.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any questions for the sheriff?
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion is
Second.
made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion is passed.
Mr. Clay,
Yes?
I know that's the end of the RLAs, but I just wanted to bring something to the Public Safety Committee's, put it on their radar at least. We've got a little bit of an issue in Albany County with the fire service, and that's fire training facilities. Colony's facility is in bad shape. Guilderland's is in bad shape. We actually, at the sheriff's office, put a lot of money into Guilderland's, but these buildings are getting used so much to train the volunteer fire service that they just can't keep up and they can't hold up. So I have spoken to Jerry Paris, our fire coordinator, and they asked me if I would go out and try to ramp up some interest in doing something in the county for fire service regarding fire training facilities. Now, I don't know if what they're looking for is a one building, 2 buildings, 3 buildings, or 4. It looks like right now there's 4 throughout the county, but again, they're all dilapidated and becoming unsafe. So at some point, I'd like to see if we could have a bit of a meeting with the fire service. Maybe a few representatives want to attend one of the rural chiefs and the suburban chiefs fire meetings. But without a training facility, it puts a lot of lives at risk. And I told them I would do whatever I could do to draw some attention to it. So I'd like you, if you guys could just start coming up with any ideas that you'd have, but it's definitely necessary.
Yeah, I agree. Training is always paramount.
Mr. Clay, can I?
Yeah.
Ask a question? Sheriff, my understanding, it's not only the volunteers, the professionals also train at Guild. I thought Albany was at Guilderland, and I know, some of the north end of the community or county have been in Colony as well.
Yeah,
And right now,
you're absolutely correct. They go to a lot of the volunteer towers because the city doesn't have their own.
right.
So, Cohoes, Watervliet, everybody, these things are getting used every single night of the week. And
Yeah.
again, they're built with cinder blocks, and you're putting fires in there, and it's just, they just can't keep up with the wear and tear. Obviously to have a tower, I think is very much necessary. But I'd like to maybe get some people together and really do some brainstorming, and maybe it's one tower with multiple, different, maybe some smaller buildings and things like that we could get away with and do if the county was to back that. But I got to tell you, without these towers, these firefighters are losing a necessary component in their training about, going into a house fire or a building fire or whatever, or fighting a car fire. They even have tanks on these properties. So
Yeah.
it's really necessary. I'd love for somebody to, maybe brainstorm a little bit and try to come up with some funds to get this thing up and off the ground. And again, I'm sure they're going to want 4 or 5 towers. I don't think that's probably feasible on our behalf, but I think we could probably do something to come up with one.
Do you think the individual municipalities should be interested in partnering as well, I would assume?
Well, everybody's kind of walking away from them because, again, one of those necessary evils, I mean, nobody likes to pay for training, but you got to have it. And I think they're looking at a lot of the volunteer companies to try to come up with the monies. I know that there was talk with some of our senators and assembly members over the years, but nothing really ever came to fruition. And I think Amador, before he left office, had some money for a tower in the Hilltown, but I just think it went by the wayside. So it's something that really needs to be done. The problem that we're going to run into is if it's like one building, it's probably going to be used 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. So what the answer is, I'm not really sure. The location, I'm not really sure, but I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the Public Safety Committee, and I promised the fire coordinators that I'd bring it up, and maybe we can start talking.
The other issue is there's been an extraordinary amount of fires this summer.
Yeah.
More than I can recall in a long time. And I'm talking like big fires, not just quick hitters.
And and there's a lot of issues out there regarding public safety that like the public doesn't know. Like these electric cars, yeah, they're a great idea, but you know what? It's hell on a fire department putting them out. Where it normally would take 400 or 500 gallons to put out a car, these are taking 5,000-6,000 gallons and chemicals added, and then they're usually reigniting at the tow company. So the tow companies, don't even want them. They're not. So there's a lot of different issues out there, but I don't know. Maybe some night we can, maybe have a round table or something and just talk and throw some ideas out there and let them know that listen, we hear your concerns and we want to help. You got to give us a plan. You got to give us something here.
Would it be worth? And this is for Mr. Clay. Would it be worth having maybe Chief Paris and some of the other chiefs on for public safety meeting, give us a report, or is that what you're looking for, Sheriff?
I think so. Actually, I have a document in front of me that maybe I can scan in and email over, and maybe Pat or somebody can get it bounced out to all you guys to read, and you'll see the locations of the current one, who's using each tower, and the condition it's in.
Now, this issue isn't new, but it's become more. Our guys are telling me that Colony is shut right down.
Yeah,
and that was going to be shut down.
That was one of the most important towers.
That's where we went. Yeah,
a couple of years ago, I put a lot of money into Guilderland's tower, and I was able to do that with some seizure money by virtue of using our search and rescue, and our SWAT team was training off it, rappelling off everything else. But again, you were starting to put good money, throwing good money out at, chasing bad. So it's, I'll get you this document, Sean, and then maybe we can come up with an idea of either bringing them on or having them attend a full meeting and speaking for 5 minutes. And it's something that we really need to address. And I know it's a lot of money, but I think if we get everybody on the same page, we can do it.
Yeah, Sheriff,
very important.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, whoever it was. Sean, you finished. Hold on a minute, Mark. Sean,
Okay.
Are you finished?
Yeah, I just want to mention.
I'm finished yet.
Yeah, thanks,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
There's a lot of money available right now, Sheriff. I don't know if you've investigated this, but we have $29 million in the rescue plan, and we have several committees that are reviewing how do we spend that money. So I certainly want to put a bug in their ears. We've broken it down in different categories. I'm in the economic development, which is a little different, but it's really meant for non-recurring expenses like the ones you just outlined. And we also have a grant program, community development and public safety money that's available for items that are not recurring. So there's 2 pots of money that are pretty substantial right now that might fit your goal.
Well, thank you. I'll have to follow up on that, but I got to tell you, it's there's no training tower right now. That's the bottom line throughout the capital county, and that's a little discouraging. So thank you, Mark. I'll follow up on that, and I'll push that to Jerry Paris. And
have you talked to Andrew Joyce about this at all?
No, actually, they were starting. Some of the fire coordinators were making some rounds, and I said, you know what, guys, let me bring this to the Public Safety Committee rather than have all these individual meetings. Let me throw it out to the Public Safety Committee, get it on the radar, and who knows? Like you said, with the it's the ARPA money I think you're talking about. Right?
Our committees are reviewing things, our ideas right now, so this is the time to do it. and it's a
Okay.
lot of money, and nobody's against what you're talking about.
Yeah, no,
Are you eligible, basically, based on their guidelines? And also this community development fund, which the legislature created, which is actually community development and public safety is actually the title. So I
Okay.
think those are two hot prospects for you on something that no one would be against.
awesome. Yeah, I'll follow up on that, and I'll let Jerry know as well when I'm off with you guys. And I appreciate the time. Patty, did you need me for a minute?
Yeah, I just, are you aware, or the fire department's aware, the volunteers particularly I'm talking about, are they eligible for money that a municipality or the county, government wouldn't be eligible for? Do you know?
I don't really know. Again, this is something that has always been whispered, that, the shape they're in. And then finally, Chief Paris come up to me and he's like, we've really got to do something serious here. And they were starting to talk to people. And I said, you know what, let me just take the ball for a few days and, speak with you folks and take it from there. They're looking into everything and anything. But
Yeah.
kind of like what Mark was saying with that money coming in. I mean, what a great purpose.
Exactly. I'd certainly be interested in attending any meetings that Fire Services was having outside public safety on the subject. Because I know
would-
our fire department too, we're hurting for volunteers. I mean, it's becoming a real problem. Besides the towers and everything, there's a lot of other issues going on. Fire service. Excuse me.
It's a lot of issues, and you know what? A lot of these volunteers, I mean, you have to have them. We have to have these people, so
Absolutely.
I'll try to help them any way we can.
Yeah.
Sheriff, do you know how many fire you got? How many volunteer fire groups we got in the county? Do you know how
Oh
many?
my God. Within one or two, I believe 43.
Got that
Wow.
many?
Yeah, 43 volunteer fire companies. And that's I'm sorry, not even volunteer. I think that's everybody. That's the cities, the paid and the volunteers.
Yeah,
So
that was.
the ones that are not paid, the municipalities that they're involved with, do they ever contribute any money to them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's very expensive, and
Yeah.
again, listen, I'll get hung for this, but that's another thing that you really got to start to look at is, do we need them all? And is there a way that we could, kind of consolidate some districts? People hate me for saying that, but I mean, it's time. I mean, there's a lot of money out there that I think that, we could save and probably build, 4 or 5 towers with the savings.
The equipment alone, the trucks alone, over the budget that we have is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a fire district for every volunteer fire department, is the fire district which taxes the.
No, with the, part of government, but it's
Yeah.
not paid to volunteer, but it's not part of, we fund the firehouse.
If I'll tell you,
Pat,
if we have to-
does Colony contribute to the volunteers?
I'm talking about the village of Colony. They are part of our government and we have a budget for that firehouse. They have a volunteer
Okay.
fire company, the men and women that serve. But the building, the equipment, the training, all that is incurred by the taxpayers of the village. So it's a
Okay.
hybrid. Like,
Okay, Sheriff, I'm in total agreement. We need to have a meeting and, and everybody's pointing towards the opera funds. I'll tell you, everybody's looking for that, but, so we need to have a meeting, need to sit down and talk about that.
okay.
I am on the executive committee that will disperse those funds, approve those funds. But, there's a committee structure in place to make recommendations. But so we need to talk about it, and certainly I'm in agreement of having a meeting whenever you want.
Okay.
Whatever.
I will
Let me
let Chief Paris know and his team that he has working on it. And I appreciate your time. Have a great night.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Counselor?
No further items, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, if there's no further items, I thank you all for your participation. And if there's no further business, I entertain a motion. for
Motion to
closure.
adjourn.
Motion is made. May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion's made in a second. Again, I thank you all for your participation.